Hello, all you brave souls. As a suicide survivor myself, I know life can be really rough. And if you've chosen to listen to this, it's probably because you're finding it as difficult as I used to. But there's no bunking off this life. And if you try, I've got some news for you. You'll be sorry. And in this video, I'll tell you the reason why. And it has nothing to do with anyone else. Years ago, I watched a television programme on legally assisted suicide via a company called Dignitas in Switzerland. I mean, the Dignitas building would have put even me off for starters. It's an ugly unit on an industrial estate, a really unemotional, cold and soulless place. Not at all dignified in my opinion. But since viewing this programme, I have an unforgettable image lodged in my brain of the last moments of a gentleman's life. He'd given the cameras permission to film his death. But after he swallowed the lethal dose, in the seconds before he died, I could see the look of panic and regret written all over his face. A fleeting expression of "I've changed my mind," and a pleading glance to the woman who handed him the lethal dose, which I read as, "How do I take this back?" It was definitely quick. It reminds me of the second time I attempted suicide at about 14 years old. That night I just swallowed all the pills I could get my hands on and went back to bed. And then the sheer panic started. My heart pounded. My body started shaking. In a cold sweat, every cell in my body started screaming for survival. So it was head down the toilet to chuck it all back up. I was physically fine after that. Couldn't have swallowed anything too lethal. But the experience of that brutal panic was an unexpected shock and prevented me trying to kill myself again for the next 30 years. When I saw the Dignitas programme and the gentleman's expression, I got the awkward feeling that perhaps all suicides feel this brutal last-minute panic and regret. It's like as soon as you do it, you instantly regret it. And this was corroborated in a book called The Other Side of Suicide by Karen Peebles. Her uncle had committed suicide 25 years before speaking to her from beyond the grave and asking her to write this book. At first she refused, but he kept appearing to her until she agreed, because he needed to let everybody know that there is no purgatory, no punishment for souls who commit suicide. But as soon as they've done it, they want to get back into their bodies because they realise it's a big mistake. It's the late Dolores Cannon's publishing company, Ozark Mountain, now run by Julia Cannon, her daughter, that published this book. I'll add a link to them below. And it was Dolores Cannon's quantum health hypnosis technique that finally put an end to my suicidal depression forever. In my first video, Do Not Commit Suicide, I Did and Lived Again to Regret It, I describe how I'd committed suicide in a previous life. How I had shot myself in the head, and in this life I have a small tumour the size of a bullet in my head just above my right ear. For me, this tumour is in memory of that bullet I'd put in my head in that past life. After my regression, I know suicide is not an option. Dolores discovered through her numerous clients that life is like a lesson, and we choose our lessons. And if we commit suicide, we have to do retakes and do the whole lesson again. Well, no thank you. I'd rather not go through all that depression again. I'll stick this life out to the very end, and I'm going to lighten up because it appears I can have as many goes at life as I like. And I don't want any more miserable lessons. No one dies. Not really. Not ever. And apparently it's not the end of the world now. It's the beginning of a wonderful new one. So please don't commit suicide, because I'm certain I'm living this life to sort out the mess I made of the previous one. And even if you don't believe me, would you risk it? Coming back and going through another life of depression all over again? Life is like doing a school year, and if you don't make the grade, you have to do retakes till you pass. And I think suicide is a fail. If you knew that if you commit suicide, you would have to live a whole other life of similar experiences till you get it right, you wouldn't bunk off. You'd flippin' stick this one out and do whatever it takes to make it work. And being happy is what I discovered makes it work. I learnt the law of attraction and all about the power of emotions because it's been proven that we resonate a frequency. Our various emotions resonate as different frequencies detectable outside our bodies. And according to the law of attraction, the emotion we put out comes back like a boomerang. So please discover ways to make your life lessons happy, healthy ones. Find things that make you happy and uplift you as soon as you start to feel low. For me, it's painting birds and animals from life. But it can be as simple as laughing to some comedy or really sensing the feeling of the warm water in the shower caressing my skin, or staring at daisies in my garden in appreciation of their loveliness. Appreciation is a powerful emotion and will attract more stuff to appreciate. And depression attracts in the same manner and will attract more stuff for us to be depressed about. So please endure this life. Stay strong and find your power through things that make you smile. Find your bliss in this life. It will be worth it in the end.